it's fascinating. You said I avoided people because I wanted to make sure that nobody really knew what I was going through. It's horrible. The isolation is making you even more and more depressed.
Well, I had an assistant though to help me cope with having to really, damn, I gotta go outside today, and damn, I gotta do this today and this and that. Jack Daniels and Jim Beam became my best friends. Not Run, not Jay. Jack Daniels and Jim Beam became my best friends because Jack and Jim was helping me get through the day. It was helping me front in front of these people. It was helping me smile. But the thing that I didn't realize that Jack and Jim was cool, you know, when I was out there fronting my way through my daily occupations and relationships. But then when Jack and Jim, when that high comes down, that feeling was still there. And that's the thing I started realizing. Okay, I feel good when I'm drunk, but when I'm drunk, I still feel like crap. And I didn't want to, I had to look and say, okay, this is when I'm high, this is when I'm drinking. But this is my real state. This feeling, if I got to live with this feeling, I don't want to live no more. And that's when I started trying to figure out how I'm going to end all of this. Like, I was literally on tour with Run-DMC, and we would go to places like, you know, the Ukraine, or we would go to places like Austria. We would go to places other than Paris and Munich and stuff like that. And it was in these little places where, you know, we would do a photo shoot on the roof, and we would go up and do the photo shoot. I would get through the photo shoot, and then Eric would be like, okay, y'all, be in the lobby, 6:30. Dres know how this is. Be in the lobby, 6:30 for sound check, whatever. And we would come down from the roof. Everybody would go to their rooms, and I would catch myself acting like I was going in my room, and I would make sure Run went in his room, Jay went in his room, Eric went in his room, and I would go back up to the roof because the hotel had the roof open so we could take the pictures. And I remember I went up to the roof this one day, and in this part of Europe, the roofs didn't have no guardrails. So I'm like, this is perfect, I could jump. And I keep it real with y'all, when I talk to adults and the kids, I went up to the edge of the roof and I looked, and I wanted to jump, but the only reason that I didn't jump is I looked down and said, I want to jump and I want to kill myself, but if I jump and don't die, it's going to hurt. So, but I went back to my room and I was like, something's wrong with me. Then we went over to Japan. This is in the book too. We went to Japan and I was like, yo, I'm going to go get some rat poisoning or whatever, and I'm going to drink that. And then I went into in Tokyo, to the hardware store in Tokyo, and I went without the translator. Because when you go to a foreign country, if you don't know the language, they give you a translator to do, you know, whatever. So I go in there and I'm trying to tell the man, rat poison. He's cursing me out in Japanese and stuff like that. So I ran out of there dejected. But then that's when I really said, something is really going wrong with me, because I really want to kill myself. You know, when you say, I feel like dying today, you know, I don't want to live no more just because I didn't get the lollipop that I wanted. You know, you did it when you're kids. But I realized, yo, I'm really thinking of kill myself. So how am I going to get that done? And this is what happened. Before all of this happened with Down with the King and the Jason Evans record, all throughout my career from 1984, from my first record to the second single to the first 3 albums, I was drinking. See, everything that I was manifesting itself in the 90s was already there. I just didn't see that. Because all throughout the 80s, when I was doing King of Rock and Rock Box and Sucker Season, all of that, I was drinking. Now, y'all know what Old English 800 malt liquor is. It's in every grocery store in the hood. The 40-ounce bottles of that. I was drinking a case of those a day. A case. I was so dependent on the Old English that I put a refrigerator in the back of my SUV so I didn't have to stop at the grocery stores to get out to get the 40s. I was doing a case a day, and that's during the daytime, from 11 in the morning to about 10:30 at night. Then I would go out at nighttime, and we would go to the clubs. And back in the 80s, it was Fuzzy Navels, Bacardi and Coke. This is before Hennessy and Cavassier. So I was doing that. I came down in 1991. I came down with a case of acute pancreatitis. And I almost died, and I was admitted into the hospital. And when I went in the hospital, I was in the hospital for a month and a half I couldn't take nothing orally. Had to take everything intravenously. And when I got out the hospital, fortunately, my pancreas was bruised, but it wasn't destroyed, and my liver was miraculously okay. The doctor looked at me and he said, son, you have two choices. You could drink and die, or not drink and live. So for all of that time, I wasn't drinking. But when all of a sudden, when the resurgence of, the Down with the King and the Jason Niven stuff and stuff, when I got sober, I was living with the real Darryl, is what I realized. But then once all the fortune and fame started coming back again, I don't know if it was the anxiety. When I finally went to therapy and discovered therapy, I found out that I'm OCD, I have anxiety, I have all of the problems that people have with mental health. I have about 50 of them. I found that out, but I didn't know that. So when these things started manifesting itself, I started realizing that this is how I was feeling all through, I'm DMC and a place to be. So all through that happiness, it was a false happiness, because the same thing that I realized I was doing with Jack Daniels and Jim Beam, I was doing with the Old English. And then when I finally got that revelation, when I finally decided to go get sober, I said, if I don't stop drinking, I'm going to kill myself. Because subconsciously, I found the way to commit suicide. Because I had pancreatitis. I'm not supposed to be drinking because I can die. I'm not going to jump. I'm not going to shoot myself. I'm not going to drink to rat poison. But if I drink the liquor, fronting like I'm having fun in the 90s again, I could slowly kill myself and nobody knows that. It wasn't until 2004, I was in Vegas and I drank a whole fifth of Jack Daniels, and I looked at the bottle and said, yo, if I don't stop drinking, I'm gonna die. That's when I realized it was gonna get serious.